Okay.
So
we're recording.
when we last left off, you guys walked into a room in the dungeon, this cave system that you've been traveling into for a few hours now, almost a day with your resting, and you came across the captain of the garrison, and along with him is now dead body. You have come across a strange group of soldiers who are clad in purple, with one of them seeking revenge and vengeance, promising he will come back at some point. You now find yourself in this room with the remains of this captain.
So much for that plan.
So he's like all the way dead now, right? Like
He did.
it's not just mostly
Yeah,
dead.
his throat was cut open, like he's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Fortunately, none of you have the experience or the knowledge to fix him, even if he was still alive. It was a pretty gruesome cut.
Yeah.
He's steps over that body, and begins looking through the books.
Shame we don't have a cleric.
Didn't we already go through all the loot?
There was some
Yeah,
books.
We're gonna wait
ritual.
till later to read these things. But at least he's found books, and that is his primary target.
What was this whole ritual about anyway?
To be honest, I have no idea. This week is turning to bad to worse, to be honest.
Just skimming through the titles, do I see anything that like stands out as occult ritual 101 or the like, something like that?
Yeah,
Can you
because
show me
cutting one guy in half in front of the body is not. Sorry.
There's
Well,
no, you're all good. There's no like title that says how to do the steps, but there are some spell style books here from whatever you can gather from the language. Not that you understand what the language is, you do recognize that there are of magical connections.
oh, I mean, this is just piles into his backpack and looks around. There's definitely better places to read than here.
Supposedly,
That's just
supposedly
the
it's just-
bleeding pool.
Agreed, especially with that stupid water elemental on the booze.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do something about that thing. It's a pretty hefty amount of security for just a water elemental.
I did see gold and other stuff in that pool.
I vote to leave the bloody thing alone, but whatever you say.
I, for one, am
Yeah.
out of magic. Just me and my trusty crossbow now.
I have no desire to tangle with that particular foe again.
While
Having
this
enough
is going
trouble
on,
with water as it is.
okay, while this is going on, I would like to use mending to fix the crossbow.
Which crossbow?
My one, the magic one, the one you said
Okay.
broke.
I just want to make sure. Okay. Give me no trouble. You made the crossbow. You know how it works. Get it fixed.
So, do we take the captain outside or we leave the body here?
I think we should take the body out of here. Maybe give him a proper burial, or at least get him back to his camp, or what's left of it.
All right. Here,
Agreed.
Greganos, take the body.
Now let's get out of here before more rats show up.
Yeah.
Little squeakers.
Just looking back, to note, Ulysses, anything that had words on it, Ulysses took. If that's more than he can carry, he will try to recruit someone to
Can
help him
you,
grab.
can you roll a, okay, can you just roll a, ugh. I hate your book loving, word loving self. There is more books than you can carry,
I look.
or bound pages than you can carry.
I look at the others. This could be very valuable, and take time to sift through it. I'd rather not leave it in this damp cave, or it'll go to waste. So, could someone help me carry some of this stuff, please?
Fine. I snatch up the lot.
I offer up the bag of holding for them to shove stuff into it.
Ozan looks at the goat, back of the books, back of the goat, and walks out of the dungeon.
Okay.
Right? I mean, this is if you already offer up the bag of holding, he'd be shoveling those into there. He'd be Ulysses himself is holding the ones that have any magical. He has any magical sense from.
There's more of those books than you can carry too, that you understand.
All right, just shovel them all into the in the bag of holding then.
Is this like an entire library we've stumbled into?
Apparently.
An occult library, the best kind of library.
It was more like their office space that they were working out of.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
What did you know? The goat is a hoarder.
Oh, don't worry, I'll get rid of it once I've noted it down. This I plan to fill. He holds up his spell book.
All right. Get thrown into fire again.
We should get moving. Moving. There we are.
Yeah. Once all the stuff's in the bag, I think we'll just follow the Minotaur with the captain in tow.
Who's leaving the room last?
Hmm?
I have everyone who's leaving the room last.
Marching order.
Not really marching order.
Be going last, since Ursulin went out front.
Can you roll perception check for me?
Okay. Perception.
You notice when you look, as everyone's leaving the room, you notice right before you step out of the room, whatever light that's left from all the torches that are on the ground. In one of the corners has this stone throne chair dais. There's this really weird purple pulsing stone, not much bigger than like your hand. And slowly it just dims till there's no more light.
I pick up the stone.
Okay. And you're gonna have to walk right back to the room towards the center of the room and pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay, we go pick it up.
I mean, Ulysses looks back. What are you looking for?
I thought this thing glowed when we left.
I could check it out after.
Probably better.
When you look at the stone, when he says it glows, you just see not a rock, but small animal skull, like a rat.
Oh, that's a skull of a rat. Is it like small animal skull, like normal rat skull, or giant rat skull?
Like a small animal. It could be a rat. It could be like a mink. Just a small skull. And
perhaps a rat of unusual size?
Not a giant rat skull.
Well.
So, do you tell me this, or?
Yeah, I'll say that's a skull.
I'm going to look at the thing again and see if it is actually a skull.
You still see a rock.
Okay, this
I
thing
walk
is
back to
definitely
see what's going
unusual.
on.
Okay.
We
You
A
walk
rock
back
that's
in,
a skull.
and you see a blackish gray rock with some purplish greenish veins running across it very faintly.
Okay, hey guys, I thought we were going to get away before any rats show up. What
Yeah.
have we got? What the hell is
well,
that thing?
it's a rock for you, or take the skull. Could you just let's get out of here. We can deal with it later.
Okay.
Stick it in the bag. I just offer up the bag
Yeah.
again.
Nah, I still have carrying capacity left. It's going in my bag.
Okay.
Well, enjoy your occult rack skull. Unless he turns and leaves.
Did he say rat skull?
Yes, he did. I don't know why.
Just looks like a weird, like a meteorite rock or something to me.
The two of you make an insight check, or I'm sorry, perception check.
Perception check.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, there we go.
Okay,
That's
there
my
we go.
net 20 for the day.
Cameron, you notice in the corners of the room, whatever bones that are lying around start to shake ever so slightly. Like if you weren't really paying attention to it, you wouldn't notice. But because of your the race that you are, your eyesight is much stronger than everyone else's. And you do notice that these bones start to shake a little bit, and you notice that they're starting to form into like a body, like what they once used to be, until they form into an entire body skeleton of an animal before sinking into the ground.
Okay.
And no one else sees this.
You do not see this. Everyone else has left the room.
Okay, that's definitely something to ponder on. Due to my time spent together with Alexandros, would I know about golems?
But what?
About golems?
I would say I don't think you two have breached that topic before, but you definitely are a lot closer with him, so you could have breached this topic, but you haven't talked about that specific topic before in your few month time period that you've known each other.
This is definitely a most unusual rock. Alexandros, what was the needed? What was the list of ingredients for making a golem again?
Ingredients for making a golem. Would I know this?
You've read about it, or you've studied the art of making it, so you would know.
Okay.
If you're asking me what that is, I have no idea.
Okay,
No
I'll
help for me.
improvise. Okay. Golems. Usually, a lot of them are made of clay. You need something to store the magic in to keep it moving, and something to give it sort of like a brain. Not an actual brain, but something to hold thoughts and instructions.
I look at the rock. I look at the rock and again, and say, this might be part of a golem. Then could have sworn I saw a stone rat creature back there. Whatever. Let's get on
It
with
was
this,
it was
guys.
a skeleton of the rat. Kind of like when you go to the museum and you see the dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that. It just formed to what it once was.
Okay, that sounds to me like a reason to get out of here. So, let's move.
And fast. I've already had an encounter with one elemental. I do not want to tangle with another one.
Agreed.
Can you? And okay, so as you guys leave Tavern, you start to notice that where the skeleton sunk into the ground, it looks to be like small glints of platinum or other precious metals are starting to like poke out of the dirt and rock. Or where the skeleton was as you were leaving the room.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I think we should definitely come back here later. If not for the water elemental only, then for whatever else is up with this place.
Yeah, maybe when we're better equipped.
Definitely.
Yeah. While we're going, I light my hands on fire so that we've got light to see by.
And by this point, the rest of you have made it back to the room where you guys entered from, where all the vines are growing down, and the rope that you have tied off in the beginning of the dungeon, you start to climb it, or you've gotten to the point where you can start to climb.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be tricky.
I was just thinking, how's the centaur going to climb a rope?
I take the rope and attempt to climb.
All right. Can you make me an acrobatics check with a disadvantage?
Screw you. Could be a bit at athletics. But okay.
That's okay.
That's a success.
Disadvantage.
Huh?
Disadvantage. One more.
Oh. You are mean. You are really mean.
Ouch.
Oh no.
So this rope isn't like tied down to like the walls or anything. The way the opening is compared to the walls,
it
it's
was
more like in
secure.
the no, it's more in the center of the room. So like you can't like climb up the wall and pulling yourself up the rope. So you're just using your entire for body strength more or less to pull yourself up. But the shape of your body when you're pulling yourself up just is too awkward, and you start to like swing back and forth. You're not going anywhere.
Gregonos, stop. We are pulling you up afterwards.
If you
Okay.
want to wait an hour, you can climb out. Of
You
course,
want me to sit here for an hour?
it's an option.
I do
The other
not
thing
want
is
to wait
toasting you
in
up.
here, guys. There may not be just the water elemental about.
Yeah.
Just a possibility. I am tapped.
And with that remark, Tamaron is going to climb the rope.
Yeah, Alexandros follows. And Sonny, remember that contraption I sent you a schematic of a while back?
Yeah, I remember. I remember that.
Any chance of building something similar?
How big? Big enough for him?
Yeah.
It'll take some time to, if you want to do it like that. It might take a little bit of time, but you should be able to get that relative order. There's wood once you get to the top,
Yeah.
and you definitely have enough rope around the rest of you to actually have that contraption, or enough rope to build that contraption.
Okay. So I'm gonna go for it. It's not gonna be pretty. It just needs to work the one time. So
I have to find it again because I don't remember you sent it to me. Oh no. Okay.
it's basically like
No, I remember what it
crane
was. I
type
just
of thing.
wanted to see. I just wanted to see how big it was. Can you roll me a d20?
A D20.
Just a flat d20.
Okay. Think that's how you do it.
Okay. So with a little bit of work, and I'm guessing you're going to get everyone else to help you with it, at least to gather the materials. About 30 minutes, you build the contraption. But what seems like enough strength that it would pull Greganos up without falling apart on itself.
Okay.
To be embarrassing.
And so I'll just set it up and lower down what is essentially a hammock attached to a rope. And okay, sit in that, hold on, and we'll pull you up.
He sits there and grab on.
So as Greganos sits into this thing, the contraption, this crane, more or less, is what it is, to sag a little bit under the weight and dig into the ground. But it holds. And as you start to wind him up, Greganos slowly, as the rest of you see, just slowly rise out towards the cave, towards the light. Excuse me. About halfway up to the lip of the cave where you guys entered from, you hear a crack in one of the arms of this crane.
I recommend mending.
Cracks. You hear a crack.
Okay. So
Okay, wood is not supposed to sound like that.
yeah, no, definitely not. Somebody grab the rope.
On it.
Yeah, Ulysses will grab hold too.
And I will keep trying to wind the rope up so that it takes up the slack while they're pulling him up.
Okay. So among the three of you, you managed to pull up Greganos to the top. And once you get to the top, you see his arms come up over the side, and he starts to lift himself up with his front legs. You look back at your contraption that you built crudely. You didn't spend a lot of time on it, just enough for it to work. You notice that along one of the main arms that held most of the weight, there's a nice, like, even crack down the center line of the wood.
So it's like along the length of the wood or like across it?
Along the length of the wood.
Okay. Well, that's gonna need refining, but it only needed to work the once, so I look at it,
Thank you.
nod to myself with some slight satisfaction, knowing that the concept works, and just leave it there.
Now we just need to find materials to make the thing properly
Shouldn't
and
be too
make
hard.
it fold somehow.
Funny you should say that.
Oh,
It's funny he should say that.
Funny he should
Anyways.
say that the original design does actually pack up so that it can fit in the bag of holding. So
well, it's actually pretty embarrassing, but thank you.
No worries.
Hmm.
So now, do we head back to the camp?
Yeah, let's give this guy a proper burial.
Oh, before we leave, does anybody have a map so we can mark down where this
Ah.
place is?
Yes, Ulysses pulls out his map and he expands his spellbook to show a basic map of the area. It is now a pane instead of a normal spellbook, it becomes a tablet, sort of not like iPhone, iPad tablet, but maybe the size of I don't know, like 3 feet by 2 feet.
It's a
And
big
he just holds that
tablet.
out. I don't know, what do you call that? A map. He turns it into a map, and he pulled out his
On
quill.
map table, dude. 3
I'm
feet
sorry,
by
I can't,
2
it can't
feet
grow
is
legs.
large.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine. Maybe I don't
Maybe
know. A
hold
map.
that
Imagine a
Kindle.
map. That is what happens. It's not not a Kindle. Imagine just a map. It looks like a map,
Okay.
like when you pull out in front of your like out of your car, the passengers.
Oh
Words
yeah,
have
freaking
English has
fold
failed
out
me.
map.
Yeah.
Oh, fold that map, right? Okay.
So he unfolds his spell book and he shows this, and we are about here, and he points to a spot. You see, there's a nice little line of little X markings along, and he puts the mark where the town we came from is. It might not be perfect, but I've measured every night. I've marked where we camped and a basic estimation of how far we've gone in that day.
Okay.
Mm.
So let's mark down where this place is, because I have a feeling there's more to dig up with this place.
What do you like to call it? Or do you leave labeling up to me?
I don't know. Cultist cave? It's a lot of
Good
nut
enough.
jobs in there, so feel free to name it what you like.
He'll just write a little CC next to it. You know, there's also a few more. There's GD, BD, and FK on the map and different other locations.
FK?
Ulysses does not elaborate.
Okay. Okay, so we heading back to the camp now.
I guess so.
Right. So
All right.
at this point, it's now like early evening. Sorry. Yeah, it's about early evening. And you take a mile walk back from the hills where the cave was located back to whatever is left of the now mostly burnt out settlement camp.
Okay. So how does it look? Like, is there any buildings still intact? Is there...
There's one building still intact. That's like 80% still intact. Like there's some charred sides and like a little hole in it, but like for the most part, it's still the same as before the fire.
Okay.
There's like a few, the rest of them are just mostly pillars.
Okay, so...
Not much left over.
Okay. Anything that looks like a workshop or a kitchen? A kitchen would do.
There is no kitchen in the building that you do see. It is connected to what looked like what used to be a stable, and there are some tools lying around that could have also been used as like a makeshift blacksmith's workshop. It's just mostly just like where it just roof and some posts with some hay on the ground.
Okay.
There's one corner, one side open.
Well, this looks like the only place we can use for shelter for the night, so
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, at least it's a roof and walls. And I doubt anybody's going to come looking for anything that could have been here before, seeing as the whole place is burned to the ground.
Mm,
All right. Well, we'll find a corner. Could you can I have those books?
Yeah, I give him the books.
Form out right here.
I just give him
All right.
all the stuff.
Over the next
Okay,
few hours, if no one bothers me,
Well,
Ulysses.
before that, Greg,
Mm.
you spend the next 10 minutes, Alexander, just pulling books out of your bag, just being piles upon piles of books, stacks of paper that are bound together.
Don't worry, I'll try to get rid of the most
Okay.
useless stuff.
You better. I'm not dealing with all this stuff all the time. Every time you need to read something.
While all this is going on, I'm going to ask Gregonos if we should go hunting for dinner.
Yeah, let's go. These are plains, right?
Yes.
All right. Let
It's like at the
me
edge of
see.
plains and woods.
Your proficiency was also professional skill. You make an intelligent wisdom check to it while traveling around such as
You're able to find food.
Yeah, that's you find twice as much food while tracking creature and then exact number. So I have to do a survival check anyway, right?
I don't think you do, but
All right, let's just say that phone food.
it just says you find twice as much food while foraging. So
Yeah. All right, let's go. And I go hunting with Temeron.
cute.
Hope I don't have to climb again. Let's do this.
You two are leaving whatever's left of this like settlement. You do notice that like a lot of the bodies that you passed by when the first time you came around are now like covered in flies and starting to look like they're worms now, starting to crawl over these bodies.
We
We should probably bury these when we get back.
Yeah. We want to deal with this when we come back. If we are staying here, that's not something you want to have around.
Agreed.
You just make one survival check for the both of you. Gregos, I would expect you to do it.
All right.
So on your excursion out of the settlement, what's left of it, you come across a small herd of deer, or what look like that they're deer from the distance, and after a little bit of following them for a bit, you manage to catch two medium-sized deers. They're about the size of your horse half, Gregonos. So you have two of those deers. So you have a good amount of meat on your way back, and you collect some berries and some other greens on your way back.
Yeah, that's will do nicely.
Yeah. This should be enough for today and maybe tomorrow. Depends on how much we eat. Let's take account that three of us are massive.
Yeah. Well, once the books are all emptied out, I would like to go around, like do sort of a perimeter of alarm rituals. So it should be basically like it would take like 8 alarm rituals to set up basically a perimeter. About
How big is this perimeter?
about 48 feet diameter.
More or less around the immediate area of this
Yeah.
little whatever's left of the
Each alarm
shed,
is
more or
a
less. Okay.
20-foot cube, so I've got them so that they're touching at the inner edge and then they go outwards.
Okay. All right. So by the time you're done with making all these rituals, Ulysses is starting to go through the stacks that he has collected, and Tamarin and Ghost have now come back with what look to be 2 deer or of medium size, while Phil and Austin are just kind of hanging around, kind of just staring out into the distance on like opposite sides of the area, just being silent.
We might want to start doing at least one big grave for everything. This starting to smell.
Any chance? I don't know. How many have we got that aren't doing anything? Got Blue Boy and the Minotaur. Any chance they could maybe do some cleanup? Nudge,
You're
nudge.
asking
Wink, wink.
me.
No, I as a player, I'm
Oh,
asking the other players.
Ah. Ah.
Like-
Epic's here.
Alexandros isn't there. He's setting up the alarms.
What?
I mean, the what is your character doing? Because everyone's kind of gone off and is doing their thing. So what is Austin doing?
I honestly have no idea where we are. I have no idea.
We're back. We're back at
Okay.
the camp where the captain was meant to be before he got, brutally murdered.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because we need a long rest, and Ulysses wants to read books, and we need dinner.
I mean, fair enough then,
It's
but
literally the only place we know of within walking distance that had any sort of shelter. So we chose to come back so we could, rest a bit and maybe give these guys a proper burial.
Mhm.
fair enough, I guess. I don't really care about burying though.
That's fair.
But anyways, what are you wanting me to do?
Annual labor. They want you to dig graves.
Thank you.
Well, we were about to. We went hunting, and with Tamarin, we are going to start to at least dig one big grave for all the corpses they have
Yeah.
started to smell and have worms and flies, and it's not good for healthy
Well,
reasons.
I am going to do that, Gregorus. You are probably better at butchering the deer than I am.
All right. Okay, I start.
So what's the plan from here? So the captain's dead. What's his face died to boars. I just don't even really know why we needed what's his face and bring him to this camp, which is already gone.
That was
Well,
just for.
we're kind of
That
lost
was
at the
just
moment.
for. That was just for proper burial, and then we sort of.
I mean, we have we have a crossroads that we went by. There's another path.
True.
But Ulysses is hoping that he can find something in these this barrage of papers.
What are you looking for in these papers?
At the moment, he's just trying to find what's important, what's trash. And after that, he's trying to find maybe a map of the area, a map with locations on it. That'd be nice. Anything that could help guide what this cult was doing. He's just interested in things like that. For the rest of you guys, I mean, Ulysses is just going to follow along. If he has something to add, he will.
Yeah, bear in mind one of the papers, the one that I fixed last time. It mentioned I've forgotten their name now. The guys that we were fighting against when we were in the army.
Oh, the ones that I was there against my will. I remember.
Yeah, when we were, persuaded to join the army through threats and violence.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, don't much care about the army. Do care about, the possibility of getting assassinated by these randos who may or may not be connected to our last set of enemies.
Oh yeah, it was something about the god messing with the opposite band.
Mm-hmm.
But I could tell those guys dressed like the opposing side in this war.
Hmm. Yeah, we have to deal with that. Well, not
Do
deal,
we?
but be.
Do we really?
We have.
We
Yeah,
don't
we
really
have to
need to
be.
deal
It's
with
not.
it, I don't think.
We have to be worry,
Do
or
we?
preocupados. Come on,
Yeah, like
attentive.
At
wary.
some point, we're going to get caught back
Worry.
up in that war, whether we like it or not.
Well, until then, we are in a not quite burnt down most of a house, and we may as well make the most of it and try to survive the week. I'm
Mhm.
assuming I'm back
So
by this point from setting up the perimeter.
So at this point, everyone is back in a group together, doing whatever they were doing. At this point, Greganos is cooking the meal. Ulysses is being distant as ever with his books. One side of him is becoming a large pile of papers, and on the other side, right in front of him, there's a very small stack of nicely put together books, about 4 or 5 of them.
You also see a
The
little
rest of
pseudo
you are
dragon stabbing a paper and then carrying it over the pile. My familiar is helping me.
okay.
Okay.
The rest of you see this, as well as this mysterious, curious purple lizard creature on his shoulder going through pages as well. And the rest of you are just helping out or getting your gear to put together at this point. You're getting ready for the night.
Yeah. Are we gonna set up like a cooking fire for food or something?
I am ready cooking.
Okay, fair enough. I walk over to Ulysses and just ask, what's the deal with the lizard? Been meaning to ask. Doesn't feel normal.
Oh, I'm sure it's not normal. Of course, I've never seen anyone else with something like Lucian pets the lizard.
Like who?
He helped me. He pets the lizard. He gestures to the creature.
Okay.
His name is Lucian.
Lucian.
Lucian. Yes. Lucian, say hello. Lucian looks at you, little puff of smoke, and then goes back to carrying papers.
Okay. Is there anything interesting in that pile?
Which one?
I mean, the one that is, I assume, the not interesting pile. That one? No.
No, I'm just referring to the pile that I dumped at your feet, like
Oh,
2
yes,
hours
these.
ago.
Yeah. Well, DM, what have I found in these 2 hours?
What you have found is from whatever little you could actually understand, most of the stuff that you are able to read, you found are just useless crap of areas of little importance or of like places you've already been to, of like just the local air of the woods and some basic magic, nothing that you don't know already. You do find a few books. One of them is on the local area that you wanted, as well as some of the more northern areas of Theros. You also do see a really interesting book that you don't understand why you like it, but it just calls to you. And you don't understand the language particularly well, but there are some words that you can understand that are of clear magical history. And something inside of you just made you to keep this book. As for the rest of the papers that you kind of threw off to the side, they're just of a language you can't read. You don't understand. Diagrams that you just don't understand and you don't care about.
Okay. This book that I found, is it in a different language?
The one that you really like, for some reason, yes. You recognize a few words that are of magical, historical. It's in a very ancient magical language, but the rest, like very few words, but the rest of it is all foreign to you.
All right. And that's because I found 2 books of interest out of the lot.
I mean, you
Or
found a
so
few
far.
more, but there's a few magical books as well. You'll have to spend a lot of time decoding and understanding the magic behind them,
Of course.
of course.
Well, Ulysses, I mean, is this enough that he can carry it himself?
It's more than enough. You have enough. It's like 4 or 5 books, so maybe about 6-7 pounds of book.
Well, this one, he's going to pull out the geography book. I've got information about the general area, just so like the plains around us, along with areas to the north. Is there like notation of like where towns are? Is there a map inside of this book?
There's a map. It's a very crude map. It's just very bare bones. Mostly major cities are on the map. Nothing else. The northern one is very detailed.
I mean, Ulysses will. I mean, at this point, once he found books and seeing this is the best option at the moment, Ulysses at the moment would probably have been trying to copy that stuff into his. He's unfolded his spell book and is trying to just copy the maps with precision into it.
Okay.
And he's going to spend the time doing that. When Alexander walks over, that's what you see him doing.
Okay. Well,
But I mean, this is looking up. We could, of course, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but if we want to go to one of the major cities around here, I think we can at least go in the right direction. I can get the right direction from here.
that's good to know. Might be able to get some more supplies, at least so we can stay alive a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite sure what our next move is, though. I just leave him to his writing.
Okay.
And I just gonna actually I want to check a thing. By a thing, I mean my abilities. Where are we?
Well, at some point, Tamron is going to talk to Alexandros about the stone he picked up.
Okay.
and about the things that it caused down in the dungeon.
Yeah, okay, go on. Because I'm looking to see what it takes to build my Steel Defender. So at the end of the long rest, you can create a new steel. Okay.
About this rock. Ulysses said that it looked like a rat skull. I don't know what he has by that. It looks like a normal rock to me. But when I picked it up, it was definitely glowing. And shortly afterwards, other rocks around the place seemed to form into the remains of a rat skeleton.
That's creepy. Why are rats? I suppose because it's full of rats, isn't it? It
Maybe
looked
the
like
more
some sort of
interesting thing.
yeah.
The more interesting thing, though, after that skeleton sunk back into the ground, it left some kind of metal behind.
Okay.
As you two are talking about the stone, and it's very, very faintly, it's slowly starting to get brighter and give off this purple pulsing light.
Okay. I look at the stone and just say, "Do you want me to take a look at it and see what I can figure out?"
Yeah, please do. Also, is this thing getting brighter?
Certainly looks like it.
Oh dear.
So how?
What are you two mumbling about? Greganos asked.
Glowing rock.
Does he
Glowing
see the
rock.
rock as glowing rock or as other creepy things?
Can you roll me? Can you roll me a d20?
Me?
I'm sorry, not a d20, a d10. Yeah.
D10. 3.
You also see a rock, but what you see is this grayish black rock with these small veins in that rock, and it's a very slight, like slime green or lime green color pulsing. And now that you start looking at it, it starts to shine brighter than it did a few moments ago.
It is a glowing rock. But what with the ¿cómo se dice musgo? Lime. What with the lime? Green on the cracks.
Green? We see purple. And the wizard saw a rat skull. Maybe it shows different people different things. I don't know.
As the three of you are talking about this, it's starting to get brighter and brighter.
Okay.
This
is starting to get
thing
worrying.
is definitely getting brighter.
I'm going to just take it and try and ritual cast and identify to see what the hell this thing is.
Okay.
I'm going
as
to.
you're yes.
I'm going to check the perimeter for a bit.
Okay. As you're casting identify on, it is just getting brighter and brighter. And what seems like whatever magic you're doing to it is just absorbing that magic almost on instinct, and there's no effect to your spell at all.
Nothing at all.
No, nothing at all. It's not like that there is, it's not magical. It's more the fact like whatever magic you're trying to use on it, the energy, the magical energy that's being used, just gets absorbed into this stone.
So it's just absorbing magic.
Yeah, it's not. It's more or less not letting you use identify on it.
Okay. Well played, DM.
Would you like to do anything else? Also, at this point, it's getting like bright enough that like it's almost like a torch.
Okay. So it's probably going to glow through any normal bag we put it in. Do we still have the box? The magic box, the little box we use for the keystone?
You never really threw it away, so I guess you could have it.
No,
Didn't
wait.
Ulysses
No.
just
Ulysses,
shatter
No,
the
the
thing?
box,
Ulysses
the box
blew
is
it to
shattered.
bits, yeah. Okay, so we don't have the box.
All right, this is getting.
Can I just...
Why don't you just put it in the bag or a box or something?
Yeah. Can I like just try and investigate it without using the identifier spell? Just like see if I can recognize at least how it works or what it could be used for.
Can try.
Okay, that's not ominous at all. Is it like an Arcana check or an investigation that I'm going for?
I mean, how do you want to do it? You can still use Arcana and look at it magically without having the identify spell be used, or you can look at it as like a physical object.
I'm see. On the one hand, I'm thinking maybe Arcana is the way to go because it's definitely got a magical effect. Although at this point it's eating magic and turning it into light. Whichever one lets me figure out the mechanics of how it would work.
So I really answer. Just roll whatever one's higher for you.
Investigation it is. 15 could be worse.
It's really just a rock that's glowing. It's not like there's like no contraption to it. It's just a natural rock that's glowing. The more time you spend with it, the more rhythmic the pulsing is.
Oh, it's pulsing now.
No, it has been pulsing this entire time. It's not like a bright, steady light. It's been like pulsing, like a heartbeat.
Oh, like a heartbeat. Okay. Would I recognize it as like a golem core or something?
Not your typical one.
There's a part of me that...
Not from what you've heard.
Okay.
It reminds you of a heart by the way it's pulsing, but it is not what you have read up or heard from other people who have made or dealt with these types of things.
There's a part of me that's tempted to use it to build my my steel defender / automaton.
Oh.
But I'm so worried that's going to backfire.
Or science?
For science. That's... Okay, fair enough. For now, I'm going to keep it in the bag of holding, because if that thing explodes, I want it to explode on the astral plane and not in my face.
Okay. Even though you put in the bag of holding, the flaps around that bag is still emitting this like pulsing purple light.
God damn it.
And at this point, it's steady enough that like it's even grabbing the attention of Ulysses, who's like engrossed in books. Like it's like bright.
Okay. Doesn't he see just a rat skull though? He's seeing a glowing
Yes.
rat skull now.
I mean, he wasn't paying attention to what you were doing with it. I'm just using it as an example that like it is a very bright light.
Okay.
You're distracting even like him.
At what point do I get back from my perimeter sweep?
When you get back, I mean, nothing has really changed other than the fact that there's like whatever light that you see is coming from this bag of holding. But other than that, everything is normal. And you don't see anything out of the ordinary around the woods as it's becoming darker and darker.
Okay.
We may want to stuff that bag inside another bag.
Yeah.
This thing better not be a beacon for anything elemental.
Let's hope not. But if anything does get close, I will know. I set up a perimeter with alarms and the like, so. Hey, we can get a good night's sleep. We don't actually need to keep watch, at least not for the next 8 hours.
Speaking of which, do we have a destination?
We kinda don't.
Hmm.
I mean, the original plan was get here, drop the guy off, get paid, try and avoid getting recaptured.
I realized I've been muted for the last half hour.
Congratulations.
Well done. Welcome back.
Well,
That's true.
Ulysses would bring up we could head to a major city. What is the closest one, based on my new maps?
That would be actually the capital of the faction that your army was fighting against, and that would be Sithadon.
Let's no go there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're behind enemy
Yeah,
lines, basically.
You could say that. You're, I guess, like on the border of the two factions.
Oh boy, it's a good
So
thing we
we-
ditched our uniforms, isn't it?
I mean, I've got more detailed maps to the north if we want to find smaller towns.
Yeah.
Maybe better.
That might.
There's also the path. There's a crossroads further back.
Do you have any idea where any of those leads?
And with the new maps, like, do I have any idea, like, where was that path that we crossed over? I probably have a little notation for which way it went. Does it seem like go like a straight line towards Sithadon or something?
So that path is not big enough that you would see it on the map, and because that path was more made recently by travelers, not really a well-known map, but from what you can tell where you are located, that if you want to get to civilization, Sithadon is probably the closest place to get there. There are a few like smaller towns on the way there, but any major civilization would be Sithadon. I'd be going southwest.
Also, with the whole rock thing, Ulysses will. I mean, I can find out something, at least something about it, if we wait 10 minutes.
Dude, it's been hours.
Yeah, I said, you realize Ulysses would have brought that up about half an hour ago.
Okay, fair
I'm
point.
so confused why no one answered. It's because it wasn't Discord, it was my headset.
Okay.
I must have switched it.
Yeah, okay. I take the rock, the now blinding rock, out of the bag and
Okay.
hand it over and see what he
And
says.
okay, can you
With
make
check
me
magic.
a Constitution saving throw?
Oh, great. That's never
Oh,
good.
it's
Wait,
actually
who, him
bright
or
enough
me?
to hurt now.
Did I die?
Actually, yeah, you too. You can roll one as well.
Everyone rolls Constitution.
No, just the two of you. So Alexandros, you pick it up. You feel like this rock has gotten very heavy now. And for one who's lived by the fire and crafting, and for your background, you never get burned or anything, but when you touch this rock and you grab it, you, for at least from what you understand of what a burning sensation feels like, you think you just got burned severely and you can't even hold this rock anymore, but it is so painful that you cannot let go of this rock.
Oh no.
I mean, what does Ulysses see with the tech magic as he's pulling this thing out?
It's magical.
I mean, what type of magic? I assume.
Oh, God, I need to keep a list of this. Just for
Yeah,
you.
I mean,
Conjuration.
and do I see him visibly burning in front of me?
Oh. You see him just pick up a rock out of a bag that's glowing. Although you don't really. Actually, no, I take that back. You don't see that. You see him grab a skull out of a bag and just hold it really tightly as he's giving it to you.
Like, is he giving it to me if he's burning? Like, how's Alexander's reacting to this?
In pain,
from
I
how
imagine?
he normally. From the outside, you don't see any difference to him at all, other than the fact that he's holding it very tightly. There is no like sweat or pain.
I know, but is he like offering it to me? Like, I don't need to actually take it to examine it. I'm like, all right, it's conjuration
That was-
magic, and I'm looking
was
at him.
his plan. That was what he was. That was his action. So I'm just.
All right.
Yeah, I was
that.
trying to hand it over, yeah.
Ulysses would try to take it.
Okay.
If he's not saying like, "Oh, it's a burning rock."
You're confused because he's talking about a glowing rock and he's handing you a skull. You kind of curiously take the skull out of his hand, and you have to like kind of fight him for it, but eventually you get it out of his hand. And when you hold onto this skull, you feel cold on the inside, like a shiver down your spine, and you smell like freshly tilled earth, like earthworms and dirt.
Yeah.
It's also like death as well.
Wait. Ugh. Well, that's. I mean. Well, I mean, Ulysses would. I mean, does Alexandros react anyway after? Like, Ulysses is holding the thing and he's just like in a sniffing motion and cringes.
So
He's not frozen in place, but he's still like kind of like stiff. He's very stiff, actually.
So what's my hand looking like?
From the outside,
No, for me.
looks perfectly fine.
Like,
For you, yeah, for you, it looks perfectly fine, like nothing's happened. But you feel your hand is so cold that it is burning up.
okay, I instinctively light my hand to get the feeling of cold out of it. So
That does not help. hand, Ulysses, as you see, Alexander's hand just bursts into flame. But for you, Alexander, you still feel cold, and it is slowly creeping up your arm.
Oh no.
It's cold seeping into your arm. And you're starting to get the shivers as well.
Okay.
I mean,
Ulysses, drop the rock.
fine by me. This isn't give me some. I mean, it's a skull, but it smells of death.
And I need
And
you to
yeah,
take a
Ulysses will
look at
drop
my
the rock.
arm and tell me what you see, because something's wrong here.
Can I drop the rock or skull?
Okay. It hits the ground, bounces a few times, rolls onto the side, and disappears
No,
from
Ulysses is
view.
gonna. No one touch it. It's probably cursed.
Oh yeah, it feels
Probably.
cursed.
And I'll go look at Alexander's detect magic. Does he have like necrotic death running up his arms or something?
Roll an Arcana check.
All right.
So, can I do a perception check to see where that rock went? I mean, it's glowing.
It is. I mean, you can see where it is. It's basically a flashlight on the ground. It is very bright. Oh wow, that's a nat 20. I was not expecting that. Your DC, by the way, for this was an 18.
Oh wow.
It's not really necrotic as in like death, but it's more of like a very cold ice death kind of magic. It's just like spreading across his body. It's first going up his arm, and now it is kind of like seeping into his chest.
So you've been affected by a freezing curse, I say to him, and it is spreading throughout your body.
I can feel that.
You're go out there and immolate yourself. You're immune to fire, right?
Yeah, sure, close enough.
I mean, Ulysses shrugs. Do I have any idea like how to fix this?
Not
What you say? No.
really.
Yeah, I mean, Ulysses' best guess would be burning him. So he's
Yeah,
good at that.
there's not from what you can tell. It's not, but you can tell with this magic that it's not like killing him. It's just causing a lot of discomfort and not pain and like pain, but more like discomfort pain. A lot of that style of like.
Well, luckily for you, it's not fatal. It'll just hurt a lot. I don't know how long that's going to last. I mean, Ulysses, from a distance now, Ulysses is going to take 5 steps back from the thing and just try to look at the skull. Is like any runic engravings on it? Anything like that? From a
Nothing you
distance.
see. It is just a skull of a small animal.
By the way, Ulysses, why do you keep calling it a skull?
Well, what does it seem? What does it look like to you?
A rock,
A
cracks, glowing.
What about for you?
What the hell?
But bye, Avi.
We've lost a guy.
Oh,
Hi.
he left the group.
Oh. Then, I shall see what is up then. Right. Well, while I wait for him to see what's up, I guess let's just continue.
Okay. So
All right.
So for
Yeah.
us, it's a rock of
I
varying
know-
colors with varying veins.
Ulysses knows a lot about history and magical stuff. Maybe whether he remembers it or not. Would he have seen anything like this, or anything similar to this, or that could have effect like this?
Not that you know of, no.
Can I cast protection from evil and good on Pyro?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Why do I get the horrible feeling that's going to do nothing?
Just in case. Well, Greganos, stop eating, listening to all this, stop eating, stand up, goes to Pyro, touch it in the shoulder and cast protection from evil and good. And I have a question because range says solve and the other one says a creature you touch. The description say what the fuck?
Mhm.
It's touch. You can get some
It's
others.
touch, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so when you touch him, you feel cold, like
The other shoulder. I'm not
you still
touching the
feel
one
cold.
he's. Oh,
no,
okay.
I know, I get it. I'm telling you, you feel cold when you touch him, and when you let go of him, you feel the same intensity of cold, but you still feel cold. And to Alexandros, you actually still cold and in very great discomfort. You just feel a little bit more at ease with yourself, and you feel a little bit more comfort that there's other people around you. And
I
because of that, like, pain kind of lessens a bit.
Okay.
Is Greganos also cursed now?
Well,
What you can tell, he's perfectly fine.
Okay.
I don't know what you just
Did that
did,
work?
but it seems to have made it. It's not fixed it, but it's less bad. It's not as bad.
All right. That spell usually works for aberrations, celestial elementals, fae, fiends, or undead. If that. I don't know if that narrowed the possibilities, but that's what is usually what happens.
it seems to be some kind of spell effect. So let's narrow it down. It's a thing. It looks different. It looks like a rat skull to me. Greganos, what does it look like to you? The same
White.
stone?
For me, it's a white stone with lime green bits.
And I look at Alexander's. And for you, it's a black stone with purple bits.
With purple cracks. The cracks are glowing.
Crack. Sorry, I mean, it's conjuration magic. Other than that, did you tried to invent? I mean, Ulysses would have probably been there when you tried identifying it, and this is what happened. So,
Yeah, tried identifying it and it ate the magic. Like, it just sucked it in.
I mean, I got no idea what this thing is. And I'm of the opinion if I got no idea what it is and it's magical, it's above my level. Considerably so. So I say I think best thing is get a stick, push it outside the campsite, and put it in a hole and leave it there for the rest of eternity. Or until I figure out what it is. I'll work on that. There might be something in the books. Wait, Ulysses is immediately going to run back to his pile of books and begin searching through for anything that matches that description. Like, maybe a little diagram of something.
Okay.
Okay. Can the other two, Tamarin and Greganos, can you roll me a d20 as well? And then you as well, Ulysses.
A d20? Okay.
That's stick.
At this point, everyone feels it's a very, very cold blast emanate from stone, like a shockwave.
Oh, great.
Now, all of you, your own ways, feel very cold and have this lingering idea of death and what comes after life.
Well, I think we need a new campsite. At least he's going to grab his books, snap his fingers to his fellow's familiar, and just book it straight out of there.
Before you can
Why
take
did
two,
I pick it up?
before you take 2 steps, you get you see absolutely nothing as your vision goes completely dark, like pitch black. For you, Greganos, you get this very blinding green light. And for you, Alexandros and Tamaron, you see this very bright purple light just flash before your eyes and blind you for a second.
Okay.
And once your vision clears, for all 4 of you, Alexandros, you actually stop feeling this freezing cold now. You just feel more of like, I'm in the dark, a weird place kind of cold. Or like you're just kind of unsettled, no more than normal. Like all that cold feeling, that burning cold feeling has now disappeared.
Okay.
And where your fire was, or whatever is left of your campfire, is now this sinister, ever-changing color flame. It can never really seem to settle on one color. It goes from like this purple to this very pitch black color, almost to like midnight. This very, and constantly shifts between them. Never really settle on one of those colors.
Ulysses will continue his business of getting GTFO.
And at this point, flame shoots up 20 feet in the sky, shrinks back to a small ball, puffs out of existence. And standing where the fire once stood is this bearded man in a toga.
I still have detect magic up. Do I get a little magical from him? Just a little.
You don't really get anything from your spell, but you can tell he's magical.
And it's not arcane, and thus it is divine.
Oh, this is a god, isn't it? My shield.
Ulysses
I grab my
immediately
shield
hits the ground.
and just like,
Okay.
and just keep my eye on this person. Try and gauge whether he's a threat or not. Do I get like any godly vibes from this guy?
Around him, you feel kind of cold, a little bit of anger. Ironically, even though you feel cold, you feel like the heat of a fire and of death. And he kind of just like looks at all of you, kind of chuckles a little bit. That kind of like beckons his finger and says, "Come sit down by the fire. We need to have a little talk."
A little advance warning would have been nice.
Alice, I will presume, right?
He kind of just snaps his finger and like the fire comes back and there's like 4 low cut logs around it in the semicircle, like facing him. He says, "Sit."
Yeah.
Well, I will not sit in one of the logs because that will be impossible for me. So I just go to the side of one of them.
I look at Greganos. That is actually a god. Ulysses, as he is scampering over to sit on a log.
I
There's no telling
slowly
using
and
it twice.
his
warily,
name.
like cautiously sit on one of the logs, still keeping my eye on the guy.
Cameron will sit not on a log, but next to it in sort of like a lotus position.
Interesting.
He's going to get his spell book out and get his quill ready. Looks up expectantly.
Oh
Dragonos
God,
will,
that is
Dragonos will just cross his arm and sit on the floor because he might don't think that gods should be venered, but he knows that a god can whip his ass if he wants to. So there is no point of thanking the bow.
wow. You guys all did very interesting things. That's interesting. Okay. Out of everyone, he first looks at Ulysses, stares at him for a while. And Ulysses, as he's staring at you, you have two reactions. Instead of what you feel is what would seem like the slow nature of a growing tree over the eons, and you feel this warmth from your back, where you keep this tightly wound scroll in it that you have told no one about yet. Slowly, just start to like unbearably warm.
I pull it out.
Okay. And then he looks at Tamaron and he just kind of chuckles to himself. Then he says, I think you will do. For looking at you, Alexandros, he starts to study you as if like he's like testing you mentally.
I match the studious look and I look back at him, trying to figure out what he's all about.
After a little while of you two like having the staring contest, he kind of chuckles to himself and he says, I see you have your father's anger in you.
You know my father?
For looking, oh, I know my nephew very well. Maybe too well. I can understand what he's going through, or what he has gone through from his mother. Now tell me, what are you doing with him? He kind of like points towards Tamarin.
What about me?
I'll get to you later. I have something for you.
Huh.
Which you'll probably not like, but I'll do what I say. Before looking back at you, Alexandros.
Is there anything wrong with me choosing my own company?
No, I'm just curious as to your reasoning behind him.
I've helped him out, he's helped me out. He's a friend, I might even say.
You trust him with your life?
Done it before. It's not let me down yet.
Betrayal of one friend. Most entertaining betrayals. Now you, Centaur.
Yes.
Defiance, I can see.
But sorry.
What is your ambition?
I just want to find the murderers of my family. But for the time on, I am under their command. And I point at Alexandra Santemero.
First one I can help you with. The second I'm curious, but either would cost you. Yes, little satyr. Go on, open it.
Yeah,
I'm
he's,
good. I'm good on my own, thank you.
I think he was talking.
I do
to-
not like to be bound to your kind.
My kind.
Gods.
I have a lot of secrets to spill tonight then. And he kind of just like quickly like side glances at you, Ulysses, because you can see you're still like itching to open the scroll.
Yeah, I open the scroll and I look at him, look at the scroll, look at my spell book, and in that order.
Okay. And kind of nods to you and yeah, like basically like giving acceptance for you to go and open it.
Okay. I open the scroll and something magical happen.
Slowly the words start to fade away from the scroll.
So I look at my spell book.
It is just a blank scroll. You open to your spell words. Open your spell book and words and incantations that were once written on that scroll are now written on that spell book.
I look at the god. Thank you.
I can tell you'll have need of that soon. Think of it as my gift. One of many gifts for tonight. Now, child, you have yet to answer me. And he kind of looks right back at you, Alexandros. And I would like an answer. The second time I ask, I don't think you'd want me to ask a third time, if you know what I mean.
I can understand what you mean. Okay, DM, I may have forgotten the question.
The question was,
Okay, I might need to rejoin. My voice chat seems to be not acting up. Be right back.
the question was, how do I put this in words again that actually makes sense? More or less, he was just asking you, why do you trust Emran? And what is your business in Greganos?
At this point, we're just looking to survive. I trust
From what?
from everything. We've had hellhounds on our asses. We've had some crazy
You said.
cultist people
Interesting.
who have been sacrificing someone, and the guy we were.
That's why I came to you.
Well,
Actually, come sit. The rest of you, let us have a nice talk about.
Sorry, can
Your
you repeat
aunt.
that, Son?
Okay, yes, Centaur, I know, I get it. You don't have to sit, but
No,
I think that was
that
was the player asking.
that was
Oh.
that was the player. I didn't hear.
Oh man.
I mean, that still works out. I think that was perfect. You're just telling you to come sit down. Like, we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Good. Oh, and little satyr, you can put the book down now. Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just writing down what you were saying. Maybe important later.
You just
I'll
snap
remember
those
it. I'll
fingers
remember it. Yeah, I put the spellbook down.
and your book and your quill disappear off to wherever they go, not in use. So, please explain to me what you know about these people, and I'll tell you how they relate to your grandmother.
Oh, it had to be her. Sorry, did you say what we know about the people? Does he mean the people we
As in
fought?
the cultists.
Oh, the cultists.
The ones in purple.
Okay. We don't know much. We know they've probably got an assassin that can make copies of himself and was running with a pack of boars. Big ones. They nearly killed us. We know that they were sacrificing the people that used to live here. And I just gesture to the burned buildings just outside.
And no way could say they were sacrificed.
Or brutally murdered, I don't know. It looked like some sort of
Both. Well,
It looked like some sort of offering when we were in the cave.
interesting. That is not a good thing.
They said something about us not being important enough to understand what was going on.
My brother must thank me for what I'm doing. I hope you guys, at least by this point, understand or recognize who I am.
Hades.
Interesting how you know.
Yeah, well,
You don't believe.
well,
You are a curious centaur, definitely.
I think I
I'm
would
not really one.
recognize my great. Well, would he be my great uncle?
Technically, I think that's the term.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like a great grandfather or something. I think it's just looking to the great uncle.
Okay, I think I would recognize my great uncle when I meet him.
Interesting how meeting me before your own father. But, well, brother has his rules, that's for sure. No family ties. At least not now. I care little of the ways of Olympus. He cast me aside. You were cast aside. Actually, all of you were cast aside in your own ways. Let me tell you something that is intriguing, at least. Hera might not be Hera anymore.
Wait, what?
And if something isn't done about it,
Oh, great.
y'all might have issues. Very big issues.
Yeah, well,
No, I don't.
not to be disrespectful, but your brother's wife had issues before, and now he has more issues. This is not going to be good.
Thank you for repeating everything I said. He kind of like looks at you with a very annoyed look.
I'm a master
Now,
of the obvious.
I would hope you can also know how to hold your tongue for 2 seconds while I
All right.
talk. I don't understand how you deal with this centaur of yours. Now, I have no love for Olympus or my brother. Cast me aside, but the way of life ends includes the way I live. And if something happens to the Olympians, fortunately happens to me, and I gotten somewhat used to and comfortable with my status quo. I'd hate for that to happen, and as much as I hate my dear brother, I also not want him to be dead. Very hard to back at him if he's dead. Now, I won't say much because I'm not allowed to. There's greater powers at work here, and also because I like to be amused and see if you are truly the hero that I think you could be, or maybe even champions, heroes, the novels of the future. I will tell you this. Not everything is as it seems. There is no friends. There is no trust. For one you think you know, isn't who you really know. As for Hera in particular, gods won't tell you this, but she has been captured. You don't know where. And ironically, I have been asked with my own skill set and my own help to go help look for her. Now, finding her was easy. That wasn't the hard part. I just haven't told anyone yet because there's a bigger issue at hand, and also she kind of deserves it. The problem is if she falls, everything might fall apart.
Wait,
Oh.
who can capture a god?
My father can.
Are you the
He's done it before. It's not as difficult as one might think.
Well, funny enough,
My question is,
little nephew, is that gods can definitely trap other gods. Yes, but even then, it is still very difficult.
also?
It is
I'm
very interesting and impressive when a non-deity can do it, as it is the case.
a non-deity.
Long story short,
So a mortal did this.
Yeah.
Hang on, you said something about Zeus dying. Gods don't die.
that's what we like you to believe. But even he can die over time. Yes, like look at my father. He's been killed in physical form, but he still exists. But there are powers that can even kill him, can destroy time.
Let me get this straight. Someone trapped Hera and could kill Zeus, which is which you, Zeus, and Poseidon are the three who has the most power at this rate. And some after you comes Hera, and someone managed to do that and endanger you three.
Well, I technically just use Zeus because I need to get back to him. But yes, technically we could all get killed, and I'd prefer not to die. I may have little power compared to my brothers, but I like to keep what I have. Because even though I'm the god of the underworld, there needs to be a natural order of things, and ironic and surprised that I'm saying this, but even though we don't do a great job of it, we do it better than most. The gods don't exist. The universe doesn't exist either.
Which
Oh,
brings
this
us
is
to the
going to be
question,
interesting.
what do you need us for?
No, I just needed you to get something for me. See if you were material enough. Or when things get rough.
It's not that mysterious rock that the wizard thinks is a skull, is it?
Oh no,
What
that
do you
was
think?
just one of my little toys, actually. And with that, he kind of opens up his palm and it just kind of flies into his hand and then gets folded into his toga and cloak and just kind of disappears. I just used to leave these around back in the day, and usually people of interest at least for me, find it. Then they would call me. Although it definitely called me a lot sooner than I'd expected to see you in particular. But here we are.
Great.
Okay. So how
Hmm.
does this... You said you wanted us to find an item because we're material enough to take it. Is this something gods can't
Something along the
touch?
line. It's more just for my amusement at the moment. I mean, isn't this what the rest of the gods do? Don't they just send heroes willy-nilly into the world to go do things for them? I think if I'm going to help out the world, I might as well join in, have a little fun, you know?
Yeah, sure,
Well,
makes
there's
sense.
usually boons and such involved for the adventures that run willy nilly.
Oh, let's just hope none of you die. I could have
That's
need of you in the underworld. I'm a god. I don't just hand out gold. Who do you think I am?
I wasn't talking about gold. I think you're a god, right? Do you know of what cursed me?
Curse? What curse are you talking about? Speak up. I don't have
I
all
look at
day.
the rest of the party and I don't think I'm supposed to be a satyr. And I wasn't before. It's hazy, but something did this to me, and I don't remember what.
Intriguing.
I guess you don't know.
Anyways, maybe. We'll find out soon enough. And, little nephew,
Yes.
I think it is time you tell them something about you. I'm putting you responsible, holding you responsible for everything from now on.
Me.
He already was.
Maybe one day you'll fight side by side with your father in the skies. We'll find out. And with that, he kind of looks at Tamron one last time, kind of gives you a knowing look. And then, like, the shadows and darkness around him just kind of bend inwards, and he just kind of disappears.
What happens to the fire
So-
That
lords?
leaves me with even more questions. sense.
For a god, he's not actually that was not very helpful.
He wants us to get something.
And
I'm sure we'll find out what he wants us to do when we need to know. They work weirdly like that. They like to mess with people that way.
Well, he could have met with us, telling us where to go, but okay, let's finish eating and go to sleep. We can talk about this weird shit tomorrow.
I'm more curious about what he wanted with me, specifically relating to you, Alexandros.
Yeah.
Why is it that every time I meet someone who knows something about my past, they just up and disappear without warning?
I think if life were easy, we'd get bored. But god damn it, it would be nice to get some easy stuff once in a while.
True. I've been trying to piece my past back together for the last 5 years now.
What, you have amnesia or something?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Huh.
The first thing I remember is waking up all the way in northern Theros on the shores of Sun's Lake.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, sorry for you. I don't have anything else to say. I'm not good with that kind of stuff, so I'm sorry. Good to have you.
Well, I look at
Thanks.
Alexandros. Ares only has one brother that he's directly related to. So your father is Hephaestus?
Yes.
Makes sense.
Sorry, there's many gods that he's directly related
No,
to.
there's
Yeah,
directly
that-
related to, but there's only one that there's one that's only one that's actually his brother, but from Hera and Zeus.
I mean, kind of. Okay. Technically, Ares is also his nephew, and Apollo, and anyways, yeah. Continue.
Just to be sure, you know that we are talking about Hades and not Ares.
Huh?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Oh.
Never mind. Yep. I may have heard that name wrong.
Yeah, no, Ares wouldn't
They-
talk to us on a
Both
Hephaestus.
are related to death.
I'm pretty sure Ares would
Yeah.
still be salty after the whole getting trapped by Hephaestus.
I mean, to be fair, he did seem salty.
To be honest, Ares will have chopped my head off the first time I interrupt.
I don't know. Ares can be chill.
No, he can't.
Who knows?
He's the
Nope.
first to snap and the first to run away every time, according to the myths and the like, to the original stories.
Just thrown away. I heard Thunder Rumbles on that one.
Oh. Right.
Well, sorry.
Wait, no, yeah, go ahead.
I wonder what he wanted, what he meant when he said you should tell them something about yourself. DM, would anything come to mind specifically?
Honestly,
Does
I
anything
do
come to mind?
not know.
We need to find an
I
item.
have.
There's something that comes to mind that might help.
All right. DM me it. And for the rest of you, for story-wise purposes, you guys just take your standard long rest night. There's no like anything happening. Curious, what do you think you're needed to say?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I will send you.
Okay. Does everyone want to do anything before they go to bed?
I want to fill 2 more
no.
vials of acid with
No.
the jug of alchemy.
Of course you do. Okay, go ahead. This is gonna be interesting. All right, so when you guys wake up, every single body is on the ground, has disappeared completely, and interesting. The answer is no to both of those.
Okay.
And
And I did not get that at all. I think my internet might be acting up a little.
that's okay.
Oh.
When you guys wake up, you
Um,
not spot a single body that was left over from the battle of 3 days ago at this point. And where the fireplace is, or where the, I should rephrase that, where the logs that you guys were using as seats are now a heap of bronze sheets with a fist-sized ruby, as well as this very intricate wooden staff.
I begin ritual casting detect magic. Also, sorry, but the day before in the 2 hours before bed, I would have started working on that book that interested me, just decoding it. So I assume it's just be a certain amount of hours I need to put into it, right?
Yeah. You would also
Okay.
probably need a key of some kind to help you speed it up. Okay. I'll make note of that.
I can
As for
work it.
detect magic, the staff is definitely everything has magical like residue on it, but I mean, I think it's kind of clear where they came from
Mm-hmm.
as to why they have that.
Okay.
Well, the ruby could be just a ruby. He is the god of wealth. Well, more
He
or
controls
less.
all the wealth under the earth.
The
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Well, it's a magical ruby.
As part of my long
And
rest.
the staff.
Sorry. No, actually, no. Go on.
And the staff pretty much will be magical.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to have the DM go through every part if it doesn't have it identified by Alexandros. So, if we're done, I'll look at Alexandros expectantly.
Okay, I'll do my thing, and I'll just ritual cast identify on this pile of stuff.
I say it's magical, and some of this stuff I do not think it's cursed this time.
Better not be.
It's my
Thank
personal
you.
opinion.
Can I? Sorry, I forgot the long rest thing. I will have my Steel Defender now, which looks like a
Oh.
mini Talos.
Interesting. Can you hold off of that for 2 seconds?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
A mini Talos.
Cough for reasons. The ruby and the bronze sheets, for lack of better terms, they're just godly items of like god grade metal and gem.
Okay.
So it's like it's not like just a regular steel sword or bronze sheet or whatever. It's like what Zeus would use on his chariot style grade metal.
Some might say it's celestial bronze.
Yes, one could say that it is celestial bronze. As for this staff, you get the very strange urge to when you grab it, identify it. You get the strange urge to run in like windy hills, and you feel very light in your feet when you hold on to it. You feel very energized.
Okay.
As for what physically does, or I should say mechanically, it gives you the running jump. You can kind of glide with this staff, similar to like Aang's air glider,
Okay. Right.
for 30 feet, 30 feet, 30 to 40 feet.
Give it to Temeron so he can run 150 yards.
Oh,
We have the monk speedrunner.
And in addition to that, there is a little celestial blade running the entire length of the staff. Even though it is still a blunt object, there's this little thin razor edge to it, and it does magical slashing damage.
Okay, so is the staff like
That looks like a.
you say a staff? Is it like a staff or like a longsword type of thing?
It is. Think of it basically like a knife in a sheath, a wooden sheath, with the sheath being too small and the edge of the bottom part of the blade is like sticking out.
Okay.
It is basically just a staff.
So a monk quarterstaff that does magical damage and gives movement speed. It's like a monk weapon and a half, if I've ever heard one.
Okay. So I
yeah.
hand it off to Tamarin and tell him what it does. Seems like it might fit you better than most of us. And the rest of it is like gems and sheet metal, basically.
Mm-hmm. Just a pile of metal. It's very useless in the form it is in.
So I've just been given a bunch of god grade
Magic metal. Yes.
raw materials.
Magic metal.
Okay, I use this stuff to make the defend my mini Talos.
There we go. Okay. I will let you know extra gizmos that this thing can do.
Okay.
And we're gonna end the session off with a raven landing on Ulysses's horns for cawing very loudly in his ear and then flying off the southwest direction.
Huh. We have a direction at
You know
this.
how I said he'd let us know? Think that's him letting us know.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Pack it up, people. We have to move.
Ulysses looks like Greganos. Well, I guess we're the only ones yet to not receive godly gifts. Along with Phil. I look at Phil. I don't know what happened to Austin. We'll find
I
out.
don't like to be bound to gods.
Well, we
Can't be that bad.
don't really have much of a choice.
See, Alexander's
no.
is a pretty decent guy,
I'm
and he's
not-
born by one.
Okay. Alexandros, I'm not bound to him. I'm bound to you and Temeron. For now.
That's fair.
Oh,
Okay. And yeah, we pack up our stuff and head off in the direction of this.
Crow.
Was it a crow or a raven?
No,
A
Raven.
raven. That's
Raven.
Raven.
clearly asking for
Just-
for our attention. Question: does it feel like godly?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I mean,
you
So-
feel like there's like godly influence. It's
I mean,
clear
if
that
you
like
if you do say that out loud, like Ulysses will say, normally crows don't land on my horns and caw in my ear. It's just I move around a little bit too much for that.
Yeah.
I feel like you just like insulted every single raven on the planet by calling it a crow twice.
Oh, I thought you said it was a
Nope,
crow. All
it's
right,
a
well, I'll say
raven.
it's a raven then. So,
No, it's a raven. I was mistaken.
yeah,
I don't know
Gregor
what I
said crow, and then I just followed along.
I don't know when I say crow.
I mean, they're
Even.
similar. I mean,
Very
ravens are
actually
bigger.
very different.
Well, ravens are bigger,
Crow-
but they're both black birds.
I mean, okay, yeah, at that point, yes, they are the same. But without getting into the science, ravens are very intelligent, and crows are very mischievous and sly creatures.
Well, both pretty intelligent.
Yes. Anyways, let's just end it off there, so I can figure out what's going on with everyone else.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so
Alright.
Then I will stop the
Fix
recording now.
the magic stuff.